Hey guys, Leona here with Empowering Wellness and happy Tuesday. I hope you're having a terrific Tuesday. Thanks for joining in on my second part of my interview series of Empowering Wellness. We're going to be sharing this into my high vibe group. If you are not part of Empowering Wellness, make sure you join today to be part of the high vibe tribe. We're having some really exciting things happening this year, 2025. My word for the year is strength. What about you? It's all about strength on all levels and all areas of life. I'm getting stronger every day and every way. And we are starting off this year with a very heart-centered, sacred ceremony on Saturday, if you're local here to Jacksonville, for my cacao ceremony. And then starting next week, we are going to be having my masterclass, Healing Through the Power of. It's all about play, bringing joy into your heart and filling yourself up. So if you haven't seen, make sure you go to empoweringwellness.me. And tonight we have the fabulous Kate, who I got to meet from Genius Unlocked, one of my amazing coach friends that I got to get to know over the past several months, learning from our certifications. And it has been so awesome being able to connect with all these other amazing healers and life coaches. And Kate Pollan is a certified coach and mindset mentor for outside of the box thinkers like entrepreneurs, coaches, healers, creatives, and neurodivergent folks. She helps them learn how to work their brains rather than against them by recognizing their strengths and natural energy patterns so they can thrive in many ways. So I'm so excited to be able to have Kate join us tonight to be able to hear her story, why she's gotten into this, how she's doing it, how she's empowering others in their healing journey. So can see that Kate is on there, and I have sent the invite. And so I'm going to hit one more time, send invite. It's saying adding, and we're just going to have her tick on that and bring them on. There we go. Hello,
Yes.
Miss Kate.
Hi, sorry, I had some settings that I had to switch up. So
No worries. So we're going to shove the camera back so we can get all of your gorgeous face in there. And enjoy the split screen, but not split personalities tonight. Well, I mean, that may come out too. So welcome. Hello, hello, hello. It's so exciting to have you part of Empowering Wellness, High Vibe Tribe. It's so exciting to have connections with more healers and life coaches through Genius Unlocked. Thank you, GU, for bringing all of us fabulous people together. And I'm so excited to have this interview series because we all talk about like, what do you do, right? And then it's like this blanket kind of thing. And I'm like, no, I want to go like beyond the bio. I want all the juicy stuff. I want the real you. I want all the good stuff. So how did you get to where you are today? Like, what was your point of like, this is the path I was on and now I'm doing this? And how did you go? Like, what got you to where you are today?
well, I'd say I'm on career number 4, so that is the
Yes,
start of how.
yes, yes.
Yeah. Well, most recently, I was a user experience designer, and I got laid off in November of 2023, and I called it kind of a cushion kick in the pants from the universe. I
Yes,
wasn't happy at that job, and I wasn't going to leave it though. I was comfortable, right? It's really hard to turn down something that's comfortable.
yes. Getting comfortable with the uncomfortable, right? Is what we're now learning, right? Yeah, I
That's, yeah, part of my theme for 2025 for
part of
sure.
the journey, right?
Absolutely.
So fourth career, we got
Yes.
changes up, life coach here, working with neurodivergence, working with, I love that your catchphrase is like knowing the dopamine, right? The dopamine, that energy, that feel good, right? Like riding that dopamine wave, right?
Yeah,
So
tapping into what motivates you.
yes, that's amazing. So how did you get to where you are? Why is that so important for you, for people to understand, to get motivated with the dopamine?
Well, for starters, I discovered a couple of years ago that I'm autistic and I'm ADHD. It was something that I legit had very little idea of, I should say. And when I learned it about myself, I went, oh, that explains so much about my brain. And like, not just
Right.
that, I started to find more and more people who, like, I've always felt really different. And I found more people who related deeply to like my words, or I would relate to their words. And it's empowering. And now I want to help other people.
So empowering, right? Finding your tribe. That's why I call this a high vibe tribe. I want people that are raising their vibration, their frequency, like, learning, growing, expanding, right? Because we're at that different frequency and vibration. So finding that vibration, finding that tribe, finding those people that are matching your energy, your words, right? That resonate. Like,
Yep.
that's so amazing. That's so amazing. So you started this amazing coaching, you've got this motivation, you found your tribe, and now you want to serve them, right? Now you're like, okay, I've got these tools, I've gotten these skills, I've been on this journey, I'm ready to serve. And how does that feel?
Absolutely. Good. I mean, psychology has been a special interest of mine for as long as I can remember, and so now being able to combine it with what I do, it matches nothing else.
Yay! I love that. So when you're not trying to find your tribe and help everybody and motivate them into it, what motivates you? What are you passionate about? What lights you up? What are some of the hobbies that you enjoy doing?
I really enjoy crafting and DIY, like working on my house, like construction type stuff. I was a part of a group when I was younger where I learned a lot of handy skills, and my dad has taught me a lot as well. And so I love being able to transform my house from one thing to something else.
That's amazing. Not everybody has the skills or the patience or the knowledge to be able to do that. So that's awesome that you're tapping into that energy and that creativity to be able to build and create and work on those DIY house projects. That's amazing.
Yeah, and really make my house an expression of me.
Right? It's all about expressing the authentic you. Absolutely. Amazing. So tell me, you talked a little bit about your dad showing you how to do these things. How has your family dynamic fit in with like this new expansion, this new version of you? Like, how is the family dynamic that you have now? How has it shaped you to who you are today?
Well, my parents are incredibly, incredibly supportive people. I am just so very lucky to have them in my life. That's not to say that we haven't had our struggles. They did have to raise me as a child, so there's kind of that. And I now know I was having meltdowns, and at the time we were calling them tantrums and everything. And so having my parents who have known me my entire life, as parents generally do, having that and having them be able to watch me like as I go through all of these careers and everything too, because our parents are the foundation of our money story and different things like that. Like we get so much from them, whether we realize it or not.
Right? It's like those learned limiting beliefs. You're like, just like your hair color, your eye color. You're like, oh, thanks for passing that down, mom and dad. Appreciate
Absolutely.
that.
Yeah.
And so learning those and that money story and having that belief, what have you learned from that? Like, what have you taken away? What's one of your bigger learnings from that?
Well, that I, up until the past couple of months, I thought unconsciously that the only way to make money was to have a job. And a lot of that was because that is who I was around as I was growing up and everything. It was people who had jobs. And I watched my parents have ups and downs. My mom didn't work at first. She went to work at when I was, I think, in third grade. And my dad worked, and I watched him like get laid off from companies, and like I watched him go through all that. And so now to be starting my own business, to be working for myself, and to be doing what I can to help other people on my own terms, not what somebody else is telling me. It's very different from how I was raised and what they're used to. So we're all kind of learning about it as I go through it.
Yeah, I bet it definitely shifts the dynamic for sure. And but it's so cool to be able to have them witness you in this change, becoming not the person with the job, but the entrepreneur, the boss woman, the person who's charged, who's doing all the things, I don't, people that are not entrepreneurs don't understand how we don't really get a lot of like off switches, right? Like we're constantly on, we're constantly growing, we're learning, we're connecting, we're networking. There's not really like when you have that 9 to 5 job, like you can check out and it goes away. But for entrepreneurs, we're always in that constant learning. So I bet it is pretty cool to see you in this new shift and this new dynamic,
Yeah.
to be able to have that. So that's amazing. And what are some of these passion projects that you're working on right now?
Well, I'm currently in a program that is helping me kind of define and plan a group workshop. of sorts. And so the one that I'm working on is about communicating clearly. It's the power of how and what questions versus asking why.
Amazing. And so now that you're going through that program yourself, you're learning these skills and you're going to be able to now communicate to the people out there the hows and the what, and what you want instead, what is working for you, what, instead of why isn't it working for you, what do you want, right? And the whole reframing of being able to help someone. So what would be a really great reframe or question that would be a difference instead of a why, that would be in the how or the what form?
So I'm going to answer that, but I'm going to say really quickly that the basis of this is that I hear a lot of people, especially autistic people, who talk about always feeling misunderstood. And a lot of us are people who really like to ask questions. We're just naturally very curious people, and we want to understand why something is happening the way that it's happening. When we come at people and we say, why are you doing that? In our heads, we're going, why are you doing that? I'm really like, I'm really curious and just interested. And what it can often come across as is, why are you doing that? Or people with their own filters are interpreting it as a question that they need to get defensive to. So by reframing it and rewording it along the lines of like, I'm curious what led to this, or um, how are you going about XYZ? When we start to phrase our questions like that, it takes the emphasis off of what the person is doing and more about the process and what it is that we're talking about, which is automatically going to make people more likely to want to answer your question and not be taken off guard by it.
That totally makes sense. So it's more engaging, it creates more involvement, and there's less deflective or defensiveness that will come into the why are you doing this kind of question. I love that. And so, what would be your estimated time that this workshop for the collective would be available?
I am aiming for, I would say late January, but most likely early February.
Amazing. So that's what we're going to be looking for in early February. So if you were to define the clients and people that you really want to serve the most, how would you describe them? Like if someone's listening to this right now and they're like, oh, that sounds like me, I think I need to meet with Kate and do this program and reach out to her, what would that look like for you?
Are you someone who considers yourself an outside of the box thinker? Have you always struggled to do things the way that you see other people doing them, and you've never really understood why you feel so different from everybody else? Are you someone who is intensely curious and wants to learn how to harness that better? That's how I would describe the people that I work with. The majority are neurodivergent, and what we are learning about neurodivergence and everything is really just starting to expand. So there's so much outside of that specific term that I'm finding myself drawn to. But really, it's the people who don't want to do things like they see everybody else doing it. They want to do things the way that feels authentic and true to them.
I love that. And so, for any of the collective that doesn't know what neurodivergent is, can you give the definition of that and some examples?
Absolutely. So we have neuro, which is mind or our nervous system, and we have divergent, which means diverging from what is considered to be the norm. So we have right now, as far as a lot of people are concerned, we have the neurotypical, and that is what we consider to be the brain that is typical. So a neurodivergent is a person whose brain is different from the typical. It diverges from the typical. And examples of that would be autism, ADHD, but not just those, which a lot of people think neurodivergence, just those two things. It's this entire umbrella of conditions, and it includes OCD, depression, anxiety, multiple personalities, or sorry, I'm
Yes,
I have a cold.
multiple
My brain is forgetting.
personality. Yeah,
Yeah, there's a different word for
personality,
it because DID
bipolarism.
is the
Or
acronym is all I'm coming
okay,
up with.
yeah,
Sorry.
perfect.
But yeah, there's a whole bunch of different conditions, and all of it is because something about the brain is different from what is considered to be normal.
Perfect. I think that helps because, we hear a lot of terms, but we don't necessarily, all resonate or understand the real true definition and what those examples are. So thanks for clarifying that, because I, even for myself, sometimes only categorize one or two of them and don't realize it's such a broader umbrella spectrum. So that's amazing.
Absolutely.
Um, so most people realize that one of the biggest things that I love and do in the world are retreats. I love researching, going on them, seeing them, creating them, co-facilitating with others. And I always like to ask people, have you ever been on a retreat and what was your experience like?
I have been on a retreat. I was on a yoga and meditation retreat a couple of years ago. And I knew the yoga teacher because she's someone that I had taken class with here, but she's the only person that I knew of anybody else. And so it was a really nice way to get to travel, like on my own. I am single and what have you. So getting to travel on my own and have that little bit of a safety net of like, there are other people going to do the same thing, especially someone that I have interacted with before. And like being able to get away and just be like surrounded by people who all have this really good energy, this energy that's there to grow and learn and connect. Like it's bar none.
Yeah, that's such a good point, because it's like when you're around that same like-minded people, right? Like you feed off of each other. When you're in a retreat and you're all having this like same transformation or the same experience but different, right? Like it's same but different, as the Thai would say. It's like you're on this journey together but having your own experience. It's such a amazing way to connect, right? To like really connect and grow and like be in it. And I think that is such a cool thing with retreats, is that connection and that bond that you get with the other participants. But as a, typically a single female traveling 107 countries that I've done, I loved retreats because it was that kind of safety net of having other people that you knew were liking and doing the same things. And that's one of my favorite ways that I traveled. I mean, yes, I worked on cruise ships and private charter yachts and taught English abroad and all these other ways. But in each of those situations, there was always family, this network, this community that went with the travel positions. And I think that's probably one of the things that I resonate with the most about creating now retreats myself, is that community and that connection and those friends and those bonds that you make with it. So yeah, really good point. I think that's a really great benefit of it. Do you see yourself ever wanting to create a retreat from working with people and having them do yoga and meditation and sound healing in different ways to help, regulate the nervous system, give skills, things like that? Do you ever see yourself wanting to possibly co-facilitate or lead retreats or anything in the future?
1000%. I mean, obviously it's a dream to have a job where you're getting paid to travel. That is one major benefit to it. And
Yeah, I'm
it's
always like, I need to do a research retreat. I need to find some new places. And people are like,
yeah,
really, Leona, a research retreat? I'm like, yeah, because there's a lot of things that you Google and look at pictures at that are not like that in real life. Trust me, I've had some experiences that I was like, oh my God, I am so glad I checked this out before bringing people there. So yeah, getting paid to travel,
absolutely.
huge benefit. Yes, I'm agreement with that.
Well, it's that
And
like
what else?
you also get that like when people are away in this retreat in the center themselves, like for a lot of people, it's sorry, my cat has decided to make an appearance.
Hi, kitty. What's your kitty's name? That's part of your family. We
Yeah,
didn't meet the kitty.
that's true. I didn't mention that. This is Rocky, and if
Hi,
you see
Rocky.
anything with video on me, you'll probably see his butt at some point. So I'm sorry.
Rocky's like, I need to be part of the show, Mom. Here I
Absolutely. No, but with retreats, you have a lot of people who are away from their day-to-day responsibilities, and it's sometimes for some of them it's the first time that they're ever actually taking that time for themselves, and so they're in a different like mind space, in a different just they're in a different energy in and of them of that to begin with, and getting to see the transformations that people go through over that time, not to mention as a coach getting to be someone who helps facilitate that.
yeah. I think that's one of the most powerful thing is the law of witness. When you get to really witness someone and a healing, a transformation, a journey that they're on, and seeing where they came from and where they're at, and then even the potential of where you can see them even working with them long term, right? I think that is such a powerful thing, is the law of witness. And I agree. I think that's so amazing as a facilitator to be able to see that. And then, no, I'm sure you're going to be working on programs like I am that we're going to be able to support people before they go into a retreat, then have the retreat. And then there's like the integration part afterwards, right? You got to integrate all these skills. You've got to have the constant like check-in. You got to like, okay, you remember the skill you learned? Are we utilizing it? How else can I support you? And I think that that's something really cool about, coaches as ourselves and retreats. It's like a lot of times you leave a retreat and you're like, oh, that was really awesome. And now I'm back in the real world. And now what do I do? Right. So
I was all fixed and now I'm not fixed
and
anymore.
now like all these things start creeping back in. Right. And so it's so cool that, as coaches, we're going to be like, that was amazing. And now let's see you and witness you even more so. Right. Like, let's get you to the next layer and level. And that's what's going to be so cool is like creating retreats with all of my Genius Unlocked people and facilitating with people. It's like we're going to have these amazing skills for them during it, but we also have the programs and the things that are going to be able to help keep them supported even after they get out of that safe container, right? Because it's a sacred container. And all of a sudden you drop them back into the world and they're like, okay, now what?
Yes, I
It's
can
like
attest to
culture
that
shock. You're
firsthand.
like, wow. But yeah, it's going to be so cool that we'll be able to have programs for them and help that with the integration. I tell people retreats are amazing, and the integration and the programs afterwards is sometimes where like the biggest goals and ahas and diamonds and gemstones that come in of all the like wows, really start forming as even days afterwards. Because as we know, energy keeps going and changing and evolving, and that's the magic of it, right? Like we keep growing and expanding. So yes, I'm so excited. So if you were to pick a dream destination that you would want to facilitate a retreat, where would it be and why?
Honestly, I don't have a specific location in mind, but I did just have to snow blow my driveway this morning, so someplace warm.
Yeah, you're like tropical anything. Give me palm trees and like paradise and a beach, please, for the love.
Yes.
Resonate with that. Resonate. Yeah, I had to postpone my Rincon, Puerto Rico one, and I just love that area of Puerto Rico. It's so beautiful. So I'm hoping this fall is going to be that one. And then next summer is going to be my really big one because it's going to be my ideal trip that I've been planning because I love Mediterranean culture. And I've been to Italy and I've been to Greece and I've done all of that. And I want to bring it to Croatia. And I want it on a private yacht because I've worked in the yachting industry and I've worked on cruise ships and I know what kind of like high-end luxury experience that would be and how you get to travel around the islands but still have all your bags and all that in one spot, which is so nice, and wake up and like go to the top deck for your yoga and meditation and come down for breakfast and then go into the place for port and experience. So my save the date for everybody is like out in the universe is summer of 2026 on a private yacht. It's going to be a 30 passenger yacht. I've already picked it out. I've already like met with the company. I've already started looking at the fabulous menu of food and everything and got the list of excursions, everything from scuba diving to castles to wine tasting to like all the things. And so that is my big project that I'm working on. And anybody that wants to come in and participate or be what I'm calling like the three levels of it. So the first level is if you just want to participate and have fun, be a participant yourself. Second level for my practitioner friends is if you want to teach a specialty workshop or class, you can use it as a business write-off to come and travel and be a part participant and then part leader of doing a specialty workshop. Then you can elevate that even more by becoming a facilitator that actually does a workshop and offers services. So you could have like part of the a la carte menu of services. Or the final one when I'm doing retreats, long term, because I already have a partner that's co-facilitating this one in Croatia with me. Long term, it's going to have these layers where it's like you can involve yourself as much as you want. And then a true full partnership facilitator would be someone who would help with the marketing, get all the things, create the funnels, would be to it. And then you guys would be co-facilitating the whole thing. So I'm putting that out to the collective that there's many layers of being able to do retreats with me because I see such potential and growth in this industry of that. and there's so many people that have their own niches. Like, that's not my niche, right? Like, you were working with these amazing people, that's not my people. But how awesome would it be, like, people and people to come together on this magical boat and like make this happen, right? So
Well,
I don't know.
exactly. I mean, we aren't competition. We are, I don't know the word that I want, but we're aiming toward the same goal, which is to
Yes.
help people, and we're all going to resonate with people differently. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's what I really love, is like doing this interview series has been so fun, because I've met so many other practitioners that actually want to lead retreats. And I'm like, if this is my big passion, is to lead retreats, like it makes just sense that I would take my friends that I connect with, that like I know that has like these awesome skills and talents, to be able to bring it together to create magic. Like, that's what the world needs. The world needs more magic.
absolutely.
And I believe that we can do that. So those are my save the dates. I always like to put out save the dates, even if it's like a tentative, there's like an area of time or something like that. And my reason I do it is because it allows, for me personally, for people to have like their sacred yes. Like, you're saying that sacred yes, like the universe is like, okay. And then they're like, somehow the energetics like open up and just allow for that energy to happen, and things will just kind of fall into place. So for your save the date for your workshop coming up is beginning of February. Do you have any other save the dates? And why do you think it's so important for people to energetically start claiming and putting those dates out there, even if it's just in the mental bank, or but actually in their phones or computers or iPads or laptops, to actually save the date?
Well, I'm going to answer actually that question first. And it is scientifically proven, like if you want to get into a working out a habit, that you actually schedule it into your calendar, because then it's no longer a negotiable. It becomes this like non-negotiable that you know that you're committing to doing. And so the idea of like actually putting down the dates when something matters to you and putting it into your phone, it's signaling to you, it's signaling to the universe that this is something important to me. This is what I'm planning on doing. And then in terms of like save the dates and things and like that for me, so I will have the workshop in early February. I'm also starting to work on a summit that's going to be called Wired for Wonder. It's going to be about the strengths and everything with neurodiversity. Still working on the specifics of that, but my friend and I, we are aiming for spring. At some point this spring, we'll be doing it. And I will also be having 5-week group courses rolling out over the next few months as things go on.
Yay! That's so exciting. So lots of things. We're going to be making sure that we're putting them in the comments so people can find the links, find you. I don't know if you have like an email list that they can like send it to and a link. So we'll make sure that they do it. And do you have a website that you want to speak in case people are
Yep.
watching this on YouTube afterwards? How can they reach and contact you for all these save the dates and all your future programs?
I do have a website. It's followthedopamine.life, which may not sound like a web address, but it truly is. And on that, you'll be able to book a free call with me if you want to talk about how we can work together. You can see all of the services that I offer, the special events that I have coming up. There is testimonials from people who have worked with me. There's links to my newsletter on there, so you can sign up and receive any of those updates. I'm also on a lot of the social media, specifically Facebook, Instagram, and Threads, generally at followthedopamine.life or at followthedopamine.fb for Facebook specifically. So
Perfect. And what was that website one more time so everybody can get it?
followthedopamine.life.
Life. I love it. See, mine's empoweringwellness.me, because I tell people it's all about them empowering their health and wellness. So like, I like that it's not a .com. Like, I really, really love that. So that's amazing. Amazing. So follow her, friend her, reach out, book a connection call, be able to create your own movement and power and motivation through the dopamine, because that's what it's all about. And so my final question for you for the collective is straight from the heart. Close your eyes, take a deep breath in. Your inner child, you, because I'm all about healing the inner child. If you could have told your little girl self something that you've now learned now that could have helped you in your journey, what would be those words of wisdom that you would have told your little self you? What would little Kate need to hear?
Show yourself some grace. That's that'd be the main part of it. If anything that you feel is okay. There's no good or bad emotions. It's all information, and yeah, you're not too much. That's also something I would tell little Kate.
Yes, I love that. You're not too much and give yourself grace. And I think that is such a powerful message for people right now. We're starting a new year. We're starting new chapters and new goals. And so give yourself a little bit of grace in that. Write it down, get specific, make them SMART goals. But then at the end of the day, we are humans, right? We're having human being experience in this lifetime. Give yourself grace. And you're not too much. You can never be too much because all we are is light and love, and the world could never have too much of light and love in the world.
That's beautiful.
So, from my heart to yours, thank you so much for joining. Thanks for sharing Beyond the Bio. I'm so excited to get this out. We'll be sharing it on all the different platforms. Reach out, let us know how we can help empower you, and know that there are people out there just like you. You just got to find your tribe. Just find your tribe, connect, and know that we're all here trying to be able to help you and support you in the best way that we can with the skills and the knowledge that we have. And I heard something once from one of my interviewees that said, I learned it the long, hard way. Let me teach you it the shortcut, sweet, like Cliff Notes version, and have all the things that I've learned make it into something like super sweet and special and packaged with a little bow, right? Like,
Absolutely. I like that.
so let us take our long journey and make it small. Thank you all for that has been joining us live. I love it so much. I so appreciate everybody's support. If you have any questions, put them into the comments. If you are watching this live, you can put hashtag live. If you are watching the replay, put hashtag replay. And one more time, how can they find you, Kate? What is that website?
Follow the dopamine.life.
Yes. Let's all follow the dopamine because that is how we're going to live our highest and best life. So thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much all for tuning in. And until next time, much light and love from my heart to yours. Namaste.
Namaste.
Bye.
Bye.